As a leader, you are super passionate about something and you're wanting others to be just as passionate about it. Today we're going to talk about how to lead through connecting vision. You know, as a spiritual development pastor for 5 years, and in that realm, I had hundreds of volunteers where I needed them to gather around how we were doing group system. This also played out being an entrepreneur for the last 19 years and needing those that worked for me to care for my business. Maybe not to the level I did, but I needed them to care. You know, when I was a young leader, back in 2004, I bought my business. I got married within the same month. I went on my honeymoon, came back to my store, and it was a disaster. The crew I had working for me did not care about me, did not care about my business. Now, go back to just a week ago. I just got back from the very same place that my wife and I honeymooned in, Kauai. But this time the story was very different. I came back to a crew that loves me, was all about my store, and therefore I came back to no problems. See, a crew that's been working with you 17 years, 12 years, 9 years, 10 years, etc. We all want that. When we have a vision, we want people to buy in and stick around. But how do we do that? That's what I'm going to talk about today. Very practical steps. Stick around for the whole thing because honestly, if you don't do this right, they won't care. And people you're leading might do well when you're around, but when you're not around, they don't care. So let's dive in. Okay, so I got into business 2 reasons. Money and freedom. That might not sound like altruistic. It's not. This is no Mother Teresa motivation. I wish that it was. But in the beginning, it was all about money and all about freedom. Now let me ask you something. If you're going with me, how exciting is that for you? Hey, I want you to pour out your life. What do I want you to pour out your life for? My money and my freedom. Like surprisingly, people didn't want to buy into that. And it took me a while to figure out and to mature as a Christ follower in what I really was about. I wanted to point to a verse. If you're struggling with that, James 1:5 says that if any of you lack wisdom, just ask, and God will give generously. We need to ask God what we're about, because if it is all about you, one, that is not a proper perspective, and I hope that the Spirit convicts you on it, like He did me. But 2, sometimes it takes a deeper understanding of what we're about. Here's what it was for me. I started to think, what do I want to be? And for me, this channel is the same thing my business is about. And it's raising up leaders that will change the community they're in. So I have a pizza restaurant, and our whole goal is to raise leaders to change the town. A lot more exciting if you want to be a leader that's poured into than get Zach money and get Zach freedom. These are outputs that happen, but they're not the reason. So here, what else are we about? So it's a pizza restaurant, and I didn't know this at first, but little bonus fact you get for watching this, restaurant means to restore the soul. To restore the soul. So I'm going to put that here too. To restore the soul. And then in my maturing as a leader, I started to actually care about the people that I was leading. I know, novel concept, but you need to care for those you lead. And so, care. Okay. So this is now why I'm in business. This is a much more well-rounded reason for leadership. And you need to have that, because what we're going to talk about next is the crucial step. When you are leading people, they are following you for a reason. Do you know what that is? Have you ever thought about that? So let's play this out in my restaurant. So I hire people. So I hire someone. They have goals for their life. Surprisingly, they don't have anything to do with me. Shocking. Surprisingly, people that are following you, they have goals for their life that don't have anything to do with you too. So here, we're just going to draw this circle here. So someone has come to work with me for me in my restaurant. So this is a paid thing, right? So I know up at the top, they're not just there for volunteer, right? So like if you're working with someone at a church or in another capacity and you're leading them, it's more than money. But I'm going to put that because it's a real thing. So they're there for money. But why else are they there? People that you are leading, do you know why they're following you? Have you taken the time? If you have not taken the time, you need to ask. So I was going to record this video, so I asked the leaders that have been with me for years, why are you here? One, you care about me, right? Two, the mission. I'm bought into where we're going. Another one said the flexibility. Okay? Why are they following you? You want them to be as specific as possible. Because here's where the magic happens. The magic happens right here. The overlaps between the vision that I have, where are you going as a leader, and the vision they have. You do not have to convince them of the motivation needed to do this. You don't, because it already matches. If it doesn't match, it sucks the energy out of both of you. So why are they there? And then how can you meet it? So here's the other thing that I came to realize. It's a super powerful thing. What are their goals? Sometimes it involves money. Sometimes it's their mission for their life. And so I ask people when they start coming with me, what do you want to do? Your dream vocation, what is it? And I'll give a practical example. I had a gal work for me. She doesn't work for me anymore. She worked for me for 7 years. And reminder, it's an entry-level minimum wage job and someone's sticking for 7 years. And I asked her, what do you want to be? And she wanted to be a missionary. That was her goal. So what I would do is I would take this goal, my business, and I would teach it to this spot here, which was her being a missionary. So instead of teaching her till position, there's a transfer of money and the skill that comes with connecting with a customer. This is how you're going to win souls. This is how you develop the skills necessary for a missionary. But here's the thing. The only way you're going to know this is through getting to know the people that are working for you. To get to know the people you're leading. To get to know what they care about. See, that's the only way that you can find this overlap. And so what you're going to do is as you start developing, you're going to have all these different overlaps. And people are going to be with you for different reasons. Early on in business, one of the areas I found is that I could be a male figure for people that did not have one. And so when this care comes in and this mission comes in, that's what they were there for. It was the relationship and the pouring in. But I just want to tell you the reality of leading in this way. 1, it's easier. 2, it's harder. And 3, you're going to have to treat people with an open hand. And what do I mean by that? It's easier. 1, if you can find where it connects, it's way easier. I don't have to convince someone to care. Because I care for them, they care for me. 2, it's harder. It takes longer. You got to dive into motivations of people. That doesn't happen overnight. I have 3 kids. They have very different motivations. I'm still studying them. So you got to have this study. That's where the harder comes in. And here's the most important step. If you do not have an open hand with people, do not lead this way. And I'd like to challenge you, and I'll challenge you in another video. Because in this channel, it is all about how to develop leaders. In fact, I have a mission to develop 10,000 unseen leaders. And I'd love for you to join me and subscribe to the channel if you want to be developed as a leader. Because kingdom impact doesn't happen just flippantly. It happens through intentional activity and surrender to God, and that's what we'll talk about here. But if you don't have an open hand with people, you're going to lie to them. You're going to act like there's this connection, these connecting where my goal and your goal meet, and it doesn't. See, if I'm in development, which I am, I'm developing leaders, and they're here to be developed, there's a point at which the upward draft within my organization does not fit them anymore. And I've developed them so far that they need to go on to greater things. And so I'm blessed to say I have leaders that have stuck with me where I had places to put them, to raise them up in. I also have leaders that are out there being social workers, managing banks, doing different things in our community like the goal was in the beginning that don't work for me. And so if you cannot find overlap, please care for them more than you care for yourself and wish them well and help them land in a place where it does fit their goals. I hope this helps you lead through vision. Connect what your vision is to what someone else's vision is, and there is power in that unity. Connecting visions can only happen when we have a God-sized vision and purpose for our lives, that it's not just about us, but it's about the greater thing of what He knit us in our mother's womb for. And that will only happen when we have stillness and quietness. And so if that's something that you haven't developed yet, I would start here with benevolent detachment, and that is emptying the soul so that you can hear from the Creator of the universe. Have a great day, and God bless you in your journey.